Hi everybody, Thomas with Virginia Outdoors Unlimited, bringing you guys a season recap and stats video based on the 2018-2019 waterfowl season that's just wrapped up this past month here in Virginia. Last season I did a similar video. I really only covered the stats side of things. I just kind of showed you guys the spreadsheet that I keep and talked about, specific hunts and the numbers and things of that nature and trends. And I'm again going to do that and talk about, the trends of the season and kind of just the overall numbers. But this time around, I'm also going to talk about my top 5 favorite hunts. And then also I need to give thanks to, some of my good buddies who, were really the reason that I had such a fun and productive season. So first off, we're going to talk about my top 5 favorite hunts from this season. And this is a list that was, really hard to make and very arbitrary. But my 5th favorite hunt of the entire season was the hunt where I shot the widgeon. And the reason that hunt was so special to me was because that was the point in the season where I felt the most excitement at any one point. That was kind of one of those moments where it was happening and I couldn't believe it. I just remember paddling up to that bird, paddling, and just being like, I realized about 30 yards out that it was a Drake widgeon and it looked like a nice one. I kept on paddling closer thinking there's something gonna be wrong. There's no way. And kind of when I picked up that bird and saw that it was no other words to describe, but just a stud. It was just a beautiful bird. I just couldn't believe it. So that was a awesome moment, an awesome hunt. Also, shot that black duck that hunt, which was a crow. That was just a fun hunt, kind of just a relaxing hunt, and a good time. So my 4th favorite hunt of the entire season would probably be the greenheads on Christmas Eve hunt. With Chase and Wit, we hunted in one of my swamp holes on Christmas Eve, and the reason for that hunt, the reason that's one of my favorites, is because me, Chase, and Wit, we very rarely, I hunted with Chase a good bit, I hunted with Wit a good bit, but very rarely did the 3 of us get to hunt together. Only twice all season did all 3 of us get to hunt together. So getting to hunt together in one of my spots of all days, Christmas Eve, and we shot 8 mallards and 2 geese that day. Just a super fun hunt. And had birds, and that is the reason that hunt probably makes it to number 4, is because that spot there is my favorite spot to hunt in the entire world that I've hunted so far. It's my favorite spot far and away. There's just something about it that I just love. So getting to hunt there is always a treat for me. My 3rd favorite hunt of the entire season would have to be the hunt on Lake X, where we shot all those birds. The goose hit me in the head, and again, there's multiple reasons for that being my favorite hunt. One, of course, is that it was probably the most incredible display of waterfowl I got to see all season. Getting to see hundreds and hundreds of ducks come over your head at once was something I very rarely got to see, maybe once before, and it was just insane to see that amount of birds, see the waterfowl put on that display for us, and it was just kind of one of those things where you just sit back and just like, wow. One of those things that, people go to Canada for, to just sit back and be like, wow, I cannot believe I'm seeing this. To get to experience that in Virginia was awesome for me. Also, got to hunt with Brian and Chase that day. And again, just hunting with those 2 guys is so much fun. We always have so many laughs. And, we just hunt well together. It's a lot of fun. And then lastly, getting hit in the head by that goose that day, that's a story, we'll be telling for years now. Just kind of something that was insane. You just can't believe it happened, but it did, and it was pretty crazy. So years down the line, I'm sure we'll be telling our kids, remember the time that Thomas got drilled in the head by a goose? Yeah, I remember that. We actually have video of it. It's pretty funny. So that was an awesome hunt. I'd say my 2nd favorite hunt of the entire season was the last hunt of the season with my dad, specifically the evening hunt that I went on with him. We hunted the morning and the evening that day. And something I'd say, I'm going to talk about the things that I really enjoyed this season, but one of the things probably the only thing that I'm really disappointed in myself for this season was not getting out with my father as little. I got out with my father far fewer times than I was hoping to. Last season, I got to hunt with my father a good bit, still not a ton, but a good bit. This season, we hunted together 2, maybe 3 times. So that I was really disappointed. And going to that last day of the season, that had been something I'd been kind of thinking about. I really wanted to get out with him. So made sure to get out with him on that last day of the season. Had a super fun hunt. Yeah, we only shot a couple ducks, but getting to see him shoot that double on wood ducks was really cool. And yeah, it was just a lot of fun. And getting to spend time with my father is something that I really cherish and is going to be a goal of mine next season, to build on that and get out with him on more hunts. It's just truthfully hard. As he gets older, I kind of move farther away for college. It just becomes tougher and tougher. But my goal is to get over that toughness and make sure that we get out on more hunts together next season. And number one, in terms of my favorite hunts all season, was the hunt where at the public land spot with Chase and his dad, Mr. Galderies. And the reason that was my favorite hunt was because I very rarely have got to be the witness on a father-son hunt. Typically I'm hunting with my father and I bring along a friend or something like that. That time it was Chase hunting with his father, and it was just something that was awesome to get out, an older guy. I will remember forever when he shot that black duck. I think the last bird we shot all day, and it was the prettiest black duck I've ever seen, in pictures, in mounts, anything. The prettiest black duck I've ever seen. Really wish he had got it mounted. I wish I had mounted it for him or something. It was incredible black duck. And I just remember going over, he shot that bird as it came over our heads, picking it up, holding it up for him, and kind of seeing that elation. And it's very rare, at least for me, that I see in older guys who I hunt with, pure elation, and real excitement. When I get excited, I show it. It's kind of harder, at least I rarely see older guys kind of get excited like that. Because I'm experiencing new things all the time, and I'm younger, and I show my excitement. I really, it's not something I hide, and it's, I guess it just comes with, being younger and less mature, but I get really excited from time to time. It's, you tend to see that less from older guys. So getting to see, him get really excited with that black duck, he got to shoot his 6 birds full limit, and, we kind of just joked around, had a great time at a beautiful public spot of all. And also, a public spot that I didn't get drawn for, I got invited on. So, just a huge thanks to Chase, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. But, just an awesome hunt. That's kind of why that falls at number one for me. There's so many other hunts that could easily be on that list. That list is so arbitrary for me. So many hunts I went on this season are so great for different reasons. And actually my goal going into this season, something I want to mention, my goal going into this season was to not have a hunt that I didn't enjoy. So what I mean by that is I didn't want to have a hunt where I got back to my truck or I got back to the house and I said, man, I wish I slept in, or I went, man, I did not enjoy that at all. I didn't have one hunt like that this season. That was my goal. I wanted to enjoy every hunt. I wanted to take positives out of every hunt, and I feel like I was able to do that. So, that list is so arbitrary. There's, some honorable mentions for sure. The hunt where me and Whit shot the 5 mallards and a widgeon, getting to see his elation that day with shooting that widgeon. I've never seen Whit kind of react like that to a duck, so that was awesome. The goose hunts we went on late season were just a blast. So there's many hunts that could easily be on this list, but, those are my top 5. So now on to the next bit. We're not going to get into the stats yet. I need to thank some people and just kind of, this is part of my recap. I need to thank some people and talk about, what they meant to this duck season. I feel like it adds a lot to the stats and just adds a lot to the videos and everything. And, I'm going to be watching this video probably 10 years from now, kind of looking back at the recap of my season. So I just need to thank some people. First off, I need to thank Brian, Chase, and Whit. They're kind of my main hunting buddies back here home. Especially, this season I got to, I'd hunted with Brian and Chase a little bit. I'd hunted with Whit a little bit. I never really hunted together with them as a group very much. This season, me, Chase, and Whit got out on some really fun hunts together. And it's just so much, I don't know, there's something that's very special about hunting with guys that you just kind of mesh with. And I don't know how to basically describe it, but we just kind of work together well. We duck hunt in the same style. We have kind of the same set of beliefs. We joke around together well. So it's just so much fun to hunt with them. Again, Brian's the same way. We joke around together. It's just so much fun to hunt with those guys. And I just enjoy every time and the thing about hunting buddies like that is that me and Chase hunted together a bunch of times where, me and Chase hunted together a few times where we only shot a bird. We didn't shoot a bird. We shot 1 or 2 birds. but there's always positives to take out of this hunt. There was still so much enjoyment to take out of this hunt, even though we didn't shoot a ton of birds. They were still awesome hunts, and they were still super fun hunts. And those are the type of people that I love to hunt with. You know, when you can come out of a hunt and say, hey man, we didn't shoot a lot of birds, but we still had a super fun time just because, you know, we enjoy being in each other's company. We just enjoy hunting together. So that was a lot of fun. Same thing with Whit and Brian. You know, just tons of fun hunting with them. And I need to thank all three of them. All three of them, you know, I got invites from all three of them over the course of the season. You know, Brian inviting me out on Lake X, Chase inviting me out on that public land hunt. So really need to thank them. They were a huge part of the success of the season. They're a huge part of the reason that I had so much fun. Also, other guys, my college hunting buddies, Jack and Drew, again, they're just the type of people that I just love hunting with. We have so much fun together. We got on some great hunts together. We kind of just busted our butt scouting around college. You know, we never really had any incredible hunts except for late goose season. You know, we struggled a lot hunting together. Kind of earlier in the season, we, you know, were hunting some tough areas and didn't have the best success. But, you know, again, we came out of those hunts still enjoying ourselves. I still, you know, the hunt where we only shot 2 birds on the opening day of the December season, again, was one of my favorite hunts just because we kind of just joked around all morning. There's, you know, just a bunch of reasons why I really love that hunt. And, you know, a lot of those reasons can just be attributed back to, you know, how well we get along together. And then something y'all don't know, actually, is that, you know, we actually go to different colleges. Jack and Drew, you go to the same college, but we go to different colleges just down the road from each other. But I basically live in their dorm room. So it's like, you know, yeah, we're great duck hunting buddies, but we're also great friends. You know, I'm always in their dorm room. We're always talking ducks. We're always, you know, joking around. So big thanks to them. Drew busted his butt, got some great permissions for late season. So huge thanks to him for that. And yeah, just a couple more great hunting buddies I got to make this season. I need to thank Austin and Mac. You know, we only really got out on one hunt together. We went out on one hunt and then one scout hunt together. But we had that one hunt we went on was just a blast. And it's always fun hunting with new people and instantly like having a great connection and instantly being like, wow, I could hunt with you again. And, you know, we're definitely going to, you know, we're going to have to get on birds together again sometime. That hunt we shot 9 birds. So that was, you know, a really great experience. So I need to thank them. We're definitely going to have to go on some birds together next season. I actually just invited Austin over to come eat some duck poppers. So, you know, it's great to have hunting buddies like that. I know this is kind of getting long, but and a couple other people I need to thank. Josh Lutcher. We only hunted once together this season, but he got me out on a super fun sea duck hunt. Kind of something I learned so much that hunt. It was such a new experience for me and something that was very eye-opening and very, you know, just a lot of fun. So, you know, we still talk. Hopefully we'll get on some birds together next season, but I definitely need to thank him. He got me on a super fun hunt, and I never repaid the favor, and I feel bad about that. So that's the end of my thank yous and my recap. Now we'll get into the stats part of it. But I just, you know, the reason I shared all that was I feel like it adds a lot to the reason that I enjoyed these hunts. You know, the numbers I'm about to show you, they mean very little for me right now. And I still think these numbers are a great tool. And they're great for learning, and they're great to look at trends, and they're great for, I don't know what to call it, but basically stat scouting is what I call it. So if I don't have time to go scout birds, let's say I hunted all day and I can't get out and scout birds for the next day, I'll often, and I've had it work before, go into my stat sheet, say, hey, this date last year, I shot birds here in this weather conditions. It's about the same weather conditions. We're going to go try it, and shot birds there, and it worked out. So I think stats are a invaluable tool. They're great to have, but they're not the reason that I'm going out hunting. And they were. Truthfully, they were. Last season, I'd say even 2 seasons ago, I was going out. I was looking for numbers. That was what really drove me. And I've kind of found myself more and more removed from that as this season's gone on. And I kind of tried to force it last season. I was like, I don't want to be driven by numbers. I just couldn't help it. Like, I was just driven by numbers. That's what it was. And this season, I've kind of found myself naturally removed from that more. But like I said, I think these are a great learning tool. I think they're great for understanding patterns and trends. So without further ado, here they are. And I'm going to be sharing this in a screen recording. So I have my Mac up with the screen recording, and we'll be sharing that and as I talk about it. So first off, we're going to talk about my season stats, which is here, 2018-2019 season. And we'll kind of just go down the list. I kind of have different categories, and we'll just talk about each of those. So total hunts, this season we went on 34 hunts in total. That's excluding a couple scout hunts. When I mean scout hunts, I mean hunts where I didn't have any birds scouted, kind of exploring a new area. So we might set up for like 30 minutes and then we'll just go explore. So I didn't include a couple of those, but 34 hunts in total. And in terms of total group birds on hunts I was on, we bagged 186 birds, and that's including ducks and geese, which is up 80 birds from last season. So in terms of total individual birds, again, counting ducks and geese, that's 80 birds for me this season, up 12 from 68 last season. I was hovering right at like 68 after duck season ended, and then late goose season kind of pushed me up a little bit. And then total birds lost, group birds, 10 birds lost. So still that number is too high for my liking. I want to see that continue to decline. But, you know, we cut the number from last season by a third. And I think it can be attributed to I hunted with a dog more this season. Kind of got just better at looking for birds and finding birds, kind of understand how they're going to try to escape better. So my goal next season is to cut that by a third again. I want to have that at 5 next season, 5 or less. So that's my goal. In terms of individual, so now I have a few categories. So we have puddle ducks, diver ducks, and geese. And inside those categories, I have them labeled as individual and group ducks. So this season, I shot 39 puddle ducks individually. 19 of those were mallards, 11 wood ducks, 5 gadwalls, 2 green wings, a widgeon, and a blue wing. That blue wing is a split that I claimed where I don't actually think I split it. I actually should probably remove that because I definitely did not hit that blue wing teal. But that is an increase of 5 puddle ducks from last season. And the one thing that I want to point out here that I think is an interesting trend is the wood ducks this season were way down, and the group puddle duck numbers don't really reflect that. You know, the wood ducks are up in those numbers, but in that case, I hunted with a lot more guys this season, so there was just a lot more birds taken in general by the group. We saw just a lot less wood ducks in all of my spots, all of Chase's spots, all of everybody's spots. I don't know one person that said they saw a lot of wood ducks this season, kind of after October and early November. It seemed like our local birds pushed out and we never got a new push of wood ducks. The most wood ducks I saw all season was definitely the last day of the season. That last evening we saw hundreds of wood ducks, and they were still up well north of where I live. Where we hunted that day was well north of where I live. So I think we never really got a good push of wood ducks this season, and that kind of shows in these numbers, which is interesting. But the mallards were up 4 birds over last season, and then, you know, shot a lot more gadwalls than last season. So definitely pretty interesting. In terms of group puddle duck numbers, 88 puddle ducks as a group this season, and that's 46 bird improvement over last season. And again, mallards doubled this season. I'd say we saw a lot more mallards this season than we did last season, which is kind of a little bit sad because, you know, I'm going to be making a whole video about this, but our limit in the Atlantic flyway is going to be cut to 2 mallards next season, so this number will definitely decrease a lot. But mallards doubled this season. Wood ducks stayed about the same, even though I hunted with a lot more guys. Gadwalls, shot a good number of gadwalls this season, 10 gadwalls. I was pretty surprised by that. 5 green wing teal, 2 blue wing teal, 2 pintails, 2 black ducks, and 2 widgeon. So a good mix of birds. The only thing, again, that we didn't shoot this season puddle duck wise was a shoveler. Really want to shoot a shoveler. There are some shot in Virginia, but we just don't get them here. You know, some people consider them trash ducks. I've never got to shoot one, so until I can taste it, I don't know whether to consider it to be bad or good, but really want to shoot one and knock that off my list. And we didn't even shoot one as a group this season. Never even saw one, I think. So now for individual diver ducks, that actually decreased this season. Shot less individual diver ducks than last season, but that comes with the caveat that last season 7 of those divers were mergansers. This season I never shot a merganser. So we shot a lot more good diver ducks that I'd say, you know, yeah, mergansers are somewhat edible, but in my opinion, they're not the best to eat. I've tried them, didn't really enjoy them that much. So they're jerkier or sausage ducks in my opinion. But yeah, this season I shot 6 ringnecks, 4 buffleheads, 2 canvasbacks, a bluebill, surf scoter, and a ruddy duck. My first canvasback ever. and my first surf scoter and ruddy duck ever. So yeah, still looking for that first redhead. Hopefully that'll come next season. So in terms of group diver ducks, same kind of story. Pretty much close to nearly the same numbers, but we didn't shoot any mergansers this season, whereas we shot 9 last season. So this season, 11 ringnecks, 6 buffleheads, 4 canvasbacks, 3 surf scoters, 2 bluebills, 2 ruddies, and a redhead. So diver numbers, we didn't really ever get any great diver weather here in Virginia. We only had a couple days where it got, really cold, cold enough to really force good numbers of divers inland. Like the majority of the areas I hunt divers are inland. I don't really go out to the bay that much. And we shot the majority of our divers on days that were not cold. These were just kind of calendar divers that were there on a few specific days, and shot them when we could. So hopefully next season we'll target some more divers. I'd like to get out on some bigger water because I had a lot of fun when we hunted out that layout blind with Josh. So definitely want to try to get out and do that more. So in terms of geese this season, 26 individual geese. That is an improvement of 9 birds from last season. Again, that number was very close. That number was actually lower. I only shot like 14 geese during the regular season this year, and then we shot a bunch out in the late season. So again, those numbers will probably take a hit next season because we're going down to 1 goose in the majority of the state that I hunt. So 1 goose in a 30-day season. So that's going to be pretty tough. I really doubt I'll ever bring goose decoys. If I shoot my 1 goose, it'll probably just be a pass shot because I'm not dragging heavy goose decoys to go and shoot 1 goose. So it's going to be a shame, but again, I'll make a whole video on that, talking about that. And then we shot 69 group geese. Again, had some great late season hunts that really bumped that number up. So thanks to Drew for that. So now here are the stats that I calculate. This is birds per hunt. So basically the individual birds I shot, which was 80 birds divided by total hunts. So 80 divided by 34. That comes out to so I shot 2.42 birds per hunt this season, just about 2.5 individual birds per hunt. That's actually a decrease from last season, and that number is a little bit skewed because last season I hunted primarily by myself. I was a solo hunter for much of last season, and this season got more into hunting with other people, and so I was shooting less birds individually, but we were shooting more as a group, as you can see. The group shot about 5.5 birds per hunt this season, which pretty decent. These stats I just kind of calculate to calculate them. They don't really mean anything, but there's something that's kind of interesting to go back and look at and see how that increases or decreases, kind of just depending on the state of the season. So now my best personal bag, the most birds I shot in any one hunt was 8 birds. That was on the hunt where we hunted Lake X that day and only had an 8-bird day once, which was shooting 8 birds. You have to shoot ducks and geese. So that was just kind of one of those hunts where we were lucky enough to get on both in the same hunt. And then best group bag was 25 birds. That was, again, Lake X. And that was a day that I don't know if I will ever beat that group bag, because something I don't know if I've ever talked about, but I pretty much won't hunt with more than 4 guys. I will field hunt for geese with more than that, but I really, unless it's some weird circumstance, 4 guys is pretty much my limit. Once you get past that point, it's just hard for good communication, good cohesion, and you don't get that kind of great camaraderie when it's just like 6 or 7 guys. It's hard for everybody to talk, hard to everybody kind of be on the same page. So I like to hunt with, my favorite is to hunt with 2 or 3 guys. 4 is not bad at all, but more than that is kind of iffy in my opinion. And I'm not putting down any, if you want to hunt with more than that, more the power to you. I just don't find it particularly fun in my opinion. And then lastly, number of skunks, 4 hunts this season I got skunked on. So yeah, that's basically the summary of my stats and my kind of recap of the season. If you guys want to see a highlight video from this season, I'm going to put a poll up in the corner of the screen. Give me a yes or no on that. It would probably just be, kind of a combination of kind of kill shots and kind of the funny moments of the season, the good retrieves I got on camera, just kind of probably about a 5 or 10 minute video that I could put together. So let me know if you guys want to see that. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any questions about anything I said, make sure to leave a comment down below. And thanks for watching.